Ah, that sound is so refreshing to hear. And it's always a welcome sign to see the Neversoft logo. On a side note, for an eyeball impaled on a pike, it is amazingly chill. Hey there, friendos, Fredo Supreme the American Dream here, and today you might be surprised at what I am doing, considering how close a certain other Let's Player is to doing this series. Well, he actually is in the middle of it. I am going to be doing a Let's Play of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, one of my favorite games from when I was younger. Heck, if I got enough time, which I probably will, I'll try to do as many of the other Tony Hawk games as I can. But definitely not the handheld ones, partially because I can't find handheld versions of Pro Skater 3 or 4, and the secret tape in Pro Skater 2's Game Boy Advance port version of New York City is kind of impossible for me to get at the moment. That and I don't have any equipment to record from a Game Boy Advance. But yes, the important thing is, I am finally getting around to an LP of a game that not only do I love, but I am also exceptionally good at. So I figure this should go a lot more swimmingly than my Alpha Protocol or Saints Row 2 LPs. You don't have to worry about me screwing up any of these parts. So, for this Let's Play, I am going to deviate from Incetic 47's LP of this game. He tried to pick one Pro Skater for each level, whereas I am just going to stick with playing Chad Muska for all of them. For some reason, I thought he looked the coolest back in the day, mainly because he wore a backwards baseball cap. I wasn't allowed to wear a baseball cap backwards for quite some time, so maybe I was projecting my escapist fantasies onto Chad Muska. Yeah, that does sound like a good way to summarize it. So, first level ever skated in a Tony Hawk game, The Warehouse? I have to say, for a beginner's level, it's actually pretty well thought out. And by the way, I've turned down the volume a fair amount for the music, but if you can hear it a little carefully, you'll probably know that one of the greatest songs ever made is playing in the background. Goldfinger's Superman. I like to think that it can easily summarize my station life right now. Holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to summarize how I'm doing right now. But back to what I think about the warehouse, it actually looks pretty realistic. It's like Neversoft actually asked a bunch of amateur skateboarders to think of a skate park that could be designed on the cheap with, I'm gonna say, about a couple $100 worth of materials from, say, Home Depot. And long story short, they got what they asked for. A level that is kind of sparse in ramps, but otherwise still manages to be good in spite of that fact. When you think about it, that's probably one of the reasons why this level got reused so much in a lot of other Tony Hawk games. Because it's so simple and yet so fun to play. It's like every single ramp flows into one another, especially with the improvements made by later Hawk games. On a side note, I wonder if any of you have actually played this game's demo before. Well, that's where I was first exposed to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, by playing a demo disc that I got from Pizza Hut back in the day. You could only skate as Tony Hawk or Kareem Campbell in that one in the warehouse, although I have heard one of the more frequently acknowledged demos is the one where the Chicago skate park was the level you could skate around in. By the way, I am going to attempt to change up my deck every new level. It doesn't exactly make any aesthetic difference. Well, stat-wise, it doesn't matter. I could just stick with the large red deck the entire playthrough, and the only thing that would matter is how many goals I completed, which in turn would boost Chad Muska's stats. Now we are at the Miami school. Also, that was a lucky grind right there. Was not expecting to make that when I actually played the level firsthand. It's a bit bigger than the other levels. Well, it's a massive level compared to the warehouse, but still, as my friend whom I originally attempted to record this video with stated, it's very big And then I mentioned that it only seems like that because you have so few ways to continue combos, short of finding a lucky grind line. We then got into a humorous discussion about how, for a high school, this is way bigger than our college campus. I'll finish this point a little bit later, when we actually get to one of the buildings that I can ride around on top of. By the way, the graffiti on this wall, it's for the Suicidal Tendencies album Freedom, the titular track of which appears on the soundtrack. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the song that's playing right now. Again, I'm going to be talking over most of this, so I don't get a copyright strike from including licensed materials in the video, or at least not concealing them enough. And this is the building that I was talking about. My friend and I joked that that building that I just skated around on, it was about the same size as our college campus, which was an annex of a larger college that was literally located in the parking lot of a community college. It was a quaint little place, though. Long story short, this is an enormous high school campus, and yet I'm still okay with it. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it showed up in Tony Hawk's Underground 2, because it fit a lot better with the later Hawk games improvements, which is something I'm going to bring up a lot in these Let's Plays. Well, in this video series, at least. By the way, if you're wondering about my schedule for these, I'm going to try to do 2 levels per video, except for the last one, which will be 3 levels. Mainly because I don't really see the point in the final competition level being its own video, even if it is just 1 level. And I believe that is where we shall conclude for today. Join me next video where I head to the mall in New York. Nice place. I've been there a few times. New York, I mean. I'm Fredo Supreme, the American Dream. Holla at y'all later.